Now let's think about it. Is there, in fact, is it possible that there is a case for some of this? Let's take an example. Let's say that Dade Phelan were to say, listen, you have two guys who are running for office, and somebody puts out a meme, let's just say, accusing one of them of being a child molester. It's false. It's not true, but he's being portrayed as a child molester, and there's a cartoon of him like molesting a kid, right? It obviously is damaging politically. It is factually false. What should be done in that kind of situation? Now, the truly free market guy is going to say, hey, listen.
Free speech.
It's free speech.
Yeah.
It may be offensive, but it is,
Well,
and it may even be false.
According to Dave Phelan, you're going to jail.
Right. But yeah.
But it passed. It passed.
No, it passed. It passed. And I think what people are worried about is not even because I tried to make my case.
The
I
worst
tried to,
possible.
Right.
Yeah,
I tried to frame it where it was obviously untrue, obviously unfair. I'm sure with Phelan and all these guys, they want to outlaw all kinds of legitimate criticism, appropriate mockery,
now, how does it
sarcasm,
work?
Babylon Bee stuff.
Yeah. How does that work? Because it's a state law. How does that work free speech wise? Like, can you override that? For example, if you get accused of putting a meme of Dave Phelan with horns and a big mustache and a tail, do you you get indicted, they put you in jail for a year. Can you appeal it and say, hey, I have every right under the U.S. law to do this meme? What happens?
Okay, so this is the way it works. By and large, our Constitution, being a federal Constitution, does not apply to the states. It applies to the federal government. So when it says Congress shall pass no law, let's say abridging freedom of the press, this refers to the U.S. Congress. It doesn't refer to the states. In fact, even in religious freedom, the national government was prohibited from having a national religion. That's the First Amendment. Free exercise of religion, no establishment. But as you know, in the early part of American history, states had official religions. You could have Puritanism in Massachusetts, and Anglicanism in Virginia, and so on. Now, in subsequent years, many of the rights that are in the Bill of Rights have been, the legal term is called incorporation. Incorporation means that it applies to the federal government and the states. And I think the First Amendment is one of those, which means that no, Texas or any other state cannot override the First Amendment even by state law.
That's what I thought. I thought that,
That doesn't apply to all our rights. Some of our rights are only protected at the federal level, and the states can abridge them.
Right, can do whatever.
Now, obviously, there are state constitutions. Remember, Texas, states have their own constitutions, and there could be a free speech clause in those. And then the state judge would use the Texas Constitution or the Wisconsin Constitution
to argue,
or the Maine Constitution, and say, no, this law violates the Constitution of Maine, and therefore we're striking it down. So there are two different ways to go. One is to argue, if you're arguing against this law, you'd say it is inconsistent with state constitutions, or alternatively, you can argue it's inconsistent with the U.S. Constitution, and that this particular right has now been incorporated.
It's just so dumb and so hard to believe that Texas is a red state when we have dumb things like this passing. We must have a house full of rhinos in the Texas House in order for this to have passed. Because you could say Dave Phelan's Dave Phelan. He's a rhino, and that's that. But the fact that it passed tells you, of course, all the Democrats are for it.
Well, that's my point. I was just going to say, it was another guy named Burrows, not Phelan, who got elected.
Yeah.
But Burrows is a Phelan guy.
Yeah.
He's a Phelanite, if you can call him that. And so in order for Burrows to get elected, there had to have been a majority of all the Democrats plus a slice of the Republicans gives you the majority.
So I'm thinking the slice of the Republicans are rhinos.
And they voted for this too.
That's right.
The same people who
I
voted
think
for
so.
Burroughs voted for this
I
as
think
well.
that's the case.
And so you do have a real problem, which Democrats don't seem to have in blue states, which is you have a red state and not a purple state, but a red state that has a de facto, at least Democrat-leaning majority in the House of Representatives. It's a scandal, and something needs to be done. You've heard me talking a lot about the Juvent Micro Impact platform these last few months and how Debbie and I have made it a part of our daily lives. But let me tell you why we're sticking with it. It's more than just a pain solution. It's an investment in your future. Juvent is FDA registered. It's designed to safely support your bones, joints, and overall mobility, all in just 10 to 20 minutes a day from the comfort of your home. If you've been around, you've heard me list all kinds of incredible benefits that you'll notice once you start using the Juvent platform, but better balance, improved posture, and reduced inflammation are a few more that I haven't mentioned yet. All things that are critical as we age. Forget the shake plates. This is smarter, safer technology. There's a 6-week risk-free trial, financing options, and a $300 discount with code Dinesh at checkout. Go to juvent.com/Dinesh. Give yourself the gift of real, lasting health. Juvent will help you keep up with the people and activities you love most.